When we talk about legendary women in motorsport, there is a name that is always on the top of the list, and that name is Katherine Legge. There's a reason for that. She's had an incredibly successful career across multiple motorsport disciplines, has broken records, has stood on podiums, and has been a little bit of a trailblazer. Welcome back to Grid Chat. I'm your host, Marissa Tandon, and today we will be talking about and with the incredible racing driver, Katherine Legge. When Katherine was inducted into the Long Beach Hall of Fame recently, I had the chance to sit down and talk to her one-on-one. I want to share that interview with you, but before we do, I want to make sure you have a little bit of history on what she's accomplished so far. Katherine's from Britain, and that's where she started her racing career. She raced in series you're probably familiar with, like Formula 3, Formula Renault, and Formula Ford. But in 2004, she said she felt that there were more opportunities for women in racing in America, and she made the move to our continent. And it was the right move, because quickly in 2005, she really started to shine. In 2005, she won the Toyota Atlantic Championship opening race in Long Beach, making her the first woman to do so. That season, she finished third with 3 wins, 5 podiums, and was awarded the Toyota Atlantic BBS Rising Star Award. And that was a pretty busy year for her because she also tested in a Formula 1 car and was the first woman to test an A1 Grand Prix car. Katherine continued to race in other series like Champ Car and DTM before settling into the series that you're probably most familiar with her from: IndyCar and sports car racing. In 2012, Katherine entered her first Indy 500, making her the 9th woman to do so. She raced the 500 again in 2013, and then 10 years later in 2023. Now she's entering the 500 for the 4th time, but this year she's doing so with a sponsorship that has never been done before. She's partnered with a makeup company, E.L.F. Cosmetics. Right after she announced that partnership, it was announced that she would be inducted into the Long Beach Hall of Fame. Here's a quick clip of what the CEO of the Long Beach Grand Prix had to say about Katherine and why they had chosen her for this honor.
She's had a really stellar career. She was the first woman to win a pro open wheel race here when she ran the race here in 2005 in the Formula Atlantic, what was known then as Toyota Atlantic Series. Won that race, and then has gone on to drive a wide variety of race cars. You know, you'd be surprised how extensive her background is. She drove NASCAR, IndyCar, obviously in IMSA. Tells me she ran with Formula E. So she's had a lot of experience and done well and won 3 championships and 6 victories. And so, you know, she's really been a potent force in the world of motorsports. We have the opportunity to honor Katherine today for all her achievements. By the way, she set the fastest time for a woman qualifier at Indy last year in 2023, which is an honor in and of itself. So she's more than deserving of all the accolades that we could give to her, and I'm delighted that we have the opportunity to afford her the chance to be involved here in the Motorsports Walk of Fame here in 2024.
Now, when Katherine was inducted into the Hall of Fame, I had a chance to spend some time one-on-one with her. We talked about what an honor it was for her to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, why it meant so much to her, and what she hoped to see for women in racing overall. And we also talked a little bit about this partnership with E.L.F. and what it means for the progress of women in the sport and how women are viewed in motorsport overall. I'll share the interview with you now, but I do want to give you a little bit of a heads up on the sound quality. We did record this while we were at the Long Beach Grand Prix and they were in full preparation mode. So you are going to hear a little bit of racetrack in the background. Without further ado, please enjoy my interview with Katherine Legge.
Katherine, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for taking time to chat. Congratulations on being inducted into the Motorsports Walk of Fame here. I am curious for you, I think it's an honor to be inducted regardless, but as the first woman, which was really highlighted today, does it make, how do you feel about being the first woman to be inducted?
Well, thank you. I'm honored just to be inducted. I mean, if you look down the enormous list of really cool drivers, it's such an honor, and I honestly can't thank everybody enough for me being there. Being the first woman is, for me, I'm just a race car driver, right? So the first woman bit doesn't mean anything different to me as opposed to just being up there.
Yeah.
But I know that it's great for the rest of the women coming up and through, and it's something that's very close to my heart, that is like trying to get more women into racing, try to, propel them on their careers, and so it's super special.
Yeah, I think when you're walking down this whole Walk of Fame, you can see that there's only 39 drivers now that have been inducted, and that I think is such an honor regardless of gender, which I think is so cool. So I did want to highlight that. I think it's a big deal either way.
Thank you. That was well put, by the way. I wish I could have used those words.
No, it's okay. Yeah. One thing I think is so cool is that you have been in so many different series, not just the Indy 500. How do you think driving in a single seater with Indy 500 versus like team racing or the other work that you've done compares? Do you have a favorite?
Oh goodness, I have driven so many different things. I think I've probably got one of the most diverse careers in motorsport. I've driven everything from NASCAR to open wheel to electric cars to sports cars to everything, and I don't know that I can pick a favorite. I probably would pick the old champ car from like way back when, like 2006 era.
Yeah.
Around the streets of Long Beach. I think that was probably highlights of my career.
Is there one that you feel like you wish more people were watching as viewers?
I think I wish more people would watch sports car racing. Just because I think it's great racing if you know enough about it, but I don't think too many people watch IMSA, and I think it's really special.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to watch it this weekend as well. I think it'll be really cool. For yourself, you're getting ready to do another entry into the Indy 500, and your car is sponsored by E.L.F, which was so exciting. Yes. I love it. I'm wearing E.L.F today. No,
Right, me too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of course. My lip color is E.L.F. No, but I'm curious for you. That feels like a really big change from when you first started racing Indy, and now being able to have a sponsored car that's not just a female driver, but also a brand that's for women specifically. Does that
More women than not.
more? Yeah. Not necessarily only women, of course, but in terms of like I guess the target range, sort of a female-driven product or brand.
I think it's super special.
Yeah.
Honestly, because if you think about it, products aren't marketed to women in racing. Like they think that women, I don't know, don't like racing or don't watch racing or something. But they're also taking a big risk. So not only are there now more women who love racing, who come to the races, who support us, it gives them somebody to cheer for, hopefully me, but also a product, right? Like they know E.L.F, they've seen it in every CVS supermarket or whatever it may be, and they probably have it in their makeup bag in some fashion.
Yeah.
So for them to take a risk as well by saying, we put our stamp of approval on Katherine, we support her, which means that they're supporting women in things that are typically not women sports, right? And so they're saying we empower women as well as make them look pretty, hopefully.
No, that's actually a really good point. I'm curious, like when I first started playing sports when I was younger, one of the expectations was like to be one of the guys. Or versus one of the things that you're talking about now is like being able to be pretty and also be in this space. Does that feel like a shift for you?
100%.
Yeah.
Like my entire career, I've just been very focused on being another driver and doing everything that the guys do and not focusing on the fact that I'm female. And so now being able to own your authenticity, right, and be supported by a brand that also does that is super special.
I love that. Well, just to wrap up, because I'm going to let you get back to your day. I know you have a very full weekend. I'm curious that we talked in your induction ceremony about how much mentoring you've done, and you mentioned at the beginning of this how much you're hoping to see other people come up. Do you have any advice for either young women or really anyone that wants to get into racing, what they should do?
Yeah, I think tenacity and resilience are probably like the two buzzwords for the day. Like you just got to keep on keeping on and believe in yourself and never give up.
Thank you so much, Katherine. I really appreciate it.
Qualifying is underway for the Indy 500 right now, and Katherine is competing for her spot in her next running. Today, she demonstrated her incredible skill as a driver when she kissed the wall during her run and did not lift off the track. She joked later that she did this in honor of E.L.F and their trending lip oil. I love talking to Katherine because it really made it clear how far we've come in motorsport as a whole. Katherine's able to be viewed as a race car driver, not just a female race car driver, not just a race car driver who's sponsored by a makeup company because she's a woman. Katherine is sponsored by a makeup company because she's a great driver. And it was great to listen to her talk about the way things have changed for women, how the expectation of women in racing has changed, and how she's able to view herself as a race car driver first and as someone who is able to make a difference for women after that. I hope you'll join me in cheering her on tomorrow as she fights for her spot on the grid. As always, thank you for listening to Grid Chat. I've been your host, Marissa Tandon, and if you'd like to talk to me about the episode, about Katherine Legge, about the Indy 500, you can do so by finding me on social media at Marissa Kamari. You can also join me and other like-minded motorsports fans on the Grid Chat server. You can do so by going to tandemproductions.com/gridchat or by clicking the link in the episode description and filling out the form there. As always, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the Indy 500, and we will be back this week with our normal scheduled recap episodes.